What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Rap Nerds presented by the Music Support Group. This is your boy Curt, aka Leroy Green the Third. I got my man, what's the Glosky
Why
Walker.
you always we for Glow Skywalker, man? Like, why you always make shit so difficult, bro? Like, come on, why? What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Glow Skywalker, as always, out of Atlanta. What's good? Getting my
What's
water
up?
intake going
What's up, man? And we got a special guest on the pod today. We got
for sure.
Marcus Harden. I want to get your title right. We got Marcus Harden, the Senior Director of Academics and Development for Overtime Elite, a new high school basketball league that just started up in Atlanta not too long ago. So,
Pro
yeah,
League,
man. Huh?
Pro League.
Oh
Make sure
yeah,
throw the
this
pro
is
in.
high
Throw the
school. I
pro
guess
in.
high school pro league. Yeah, it's not they're not amateurs anymore. They're getting paid the
They
big bucks.
professionals. They professionals.
They getting paid the big
Big
bucks,
pros.
man.
More than us.
They're very much getting paid, man. So glad to be here. Yeah, just glad to be in the house and excited, man, to talk hoop, to talk music,
For
to talk.
sure.
So yes, sir.
Oh man, yeah.
Appreciate you joining us, man.
So let's go ahead and get started, man. We start off every podcast with our what we've been listening to segment. So I won't throw you on the spot right now, but I'll go ahead and throw it over to Darren while you get your thoughts together on just tell us what you've been listening to lately, what you've been running in the in the car on shuffle or whatever. What's been going
Oh,
on?
nothing has changed since the last time we had our episode. I'm
You
still
still
running
listen,
punk.
Thug?
I still. Now I will say I've thrown in payroll Giovanni's way.
Mm-hmm.
I rock with that out of Detroit. I have rock with Wale's Flooring too. I like that. I'm enjoying that. I've been enjoying Maxo Cream's Way of the World. But yeah, man, I just keep coming back to punk and also Dom, the West from West I would love to. And run those two in tandem
Yeah.
for the most part. And I've been listening to that James Blake too, Friends That Break Your Heart.
Okay.
It's been pretty cool too.
Okay.
That's my little range the last few weeks.
I still been running that Thug too. I've been, it's been stuck on my I've really been listening to Thug, but it like my favorite songs have been kind of like switching every now and then.
Yeah.
So I ran the Dom Kennedy finally. It wasn't hitting the same in Minnesota. I was in Minnesota and it was like 30 degrees.
It's
It
very
wasn't really.
weather dependent.
Yeah, it is. Because the first day I listened to it, I was on the way to work and it was raining. It was like rain. It was like pouring in
Yeah.
L.A. like all
That's
day.
that
Like
Griselda weather.
nah, it was
That boom
raining
bat rap
hard,
weather.
and
That's
I was
that.
like, okay, let me see if this
That mob
Dom.
deep weather.
Let me see if this Dom like really slapping like it is.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It wasn't that.
What's up, Marcus? What you been running lately?
Man, you hit mine, man. I'm a creature of once I roll something, I'm rolling something to the ground. So I'm a huge Wale fan. So that
Yeah.
Florida too has been getting
I
work.
can't get into it like that. It's
Oh
it's
man,
there's a few
I think it's
tracks.
better than Drake. Um,
I can
yeah,
see that, but there's a
yeah.
few tracks that I really like, and then there's like for the most part I'm like, I don't know if I.
I love the range of it. It got something for everybody. It got some hype stuff. It got some stuff you can play for a pregame. You got stuff for the ladies. Got some mellow stuff, some R&B stuff. Like you got some go-go stuff on there for
Yeah,
his,
yeah,
for his
yeah,
home for DMV
yeah.
people. Like
I love the I can't think of the name of it, but the Vibrant Thing kind of remix
oh
of
yeah,
the
With J
poke it
Cole,
out.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
J
which
Cole.
made me
Yeah.
then go listen to Vibrant Thing, and then like it takes you down this
Go down
rabbit
that
hole.
rabbit hole.
The down south players, yeah. I mean, it's just I just been rolling that, and I'm a big '90s hip hop R&B head, so then I'll go back to my original playlist of that stuff. So and then when I feel like trapping it out, like the gym this morning for y'all, I was on that Jeezy put on. I think I
Yeah.
was rapping really loud, so everybody knows about South Side, North Side, West Side. It worked.
Put it on. Put it on.
Put on, bro. That's my song. I'm a sophisticated man, but I'm a trapper at heart.
Hey man, that's
So
the beauty of rap.
so to be fair with that Wale, it is a good album. I would say it's a good album, but I think compared to the other albums that's been coming out this year, it's like
Why do you have to
average.
compare it? Why do you have to compare it?
It's hard
Why
not
can't you just
to.
enjoy it?
It's hard not to. It's
Is it?
rap. Yeah, I mean, no, I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, but it's hard not to compare it in the genre and sport that is rap. Like these guys are, as much as they say that they're teaming up or whatever, these guys are kind of competing. They want to be the best at what they are. So I think in the midst of all these albums that these rappers have dropped, Tyler, Nas, Thug, Kanye, Drake, I think it is better than the Drake album. I mean, it's an okay album. Even up to J. Cole's album, his peer, somebody he considers his peer. I think it's just an okay album.
Hmm.
That's my my thoughts on the Wale
So
album.
we have one person that loves it, And you say it's okay.
It's okay. It's not nothing. But there's nothing wrong with it's just okay. We talk about this all the time. Like there's nothing wrong with it just being okay. Like
It could be Donda.
Oh wow, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know if that's a good or bad thing.
Well, I'm trying to think about what is underneath okay. But
all right. And with that,
Don't let your feelings get hurt now, Curt. Don't let your feelings get hurt now.
I think Donda's.
You know, not my man's album. Now he came back and knocked your favorite album. Now you want to change topics.
Donda is an okay album. I'm not even gonna argue with that. Like I only run like the second half of that album. I'm not gonna run like the first 5-6 tracks of that. It's too long.
I mean, I will say that Big Soulja made my day yesterday with his little with his Instagram quip and asking who cut that man's hair. I think we need to protect Soulja Boy at all costs.
Kanye said that man verse was trash. That's why he ain't put it on the album.
That made my day yesterday.
We're not talking Kanye today though. That's not what we're here to talk about.
We're not here to talk about Kanye. Don't turn this off already. All right, so we're gonna hop into it, man. So let's talk about Overtime Elite. So like it's a high school professional league. What's the goal of Overtime Elite?
So OTE is a subsidiary or a separate company connected to Overtime, which is a big media company that really made our brand through quick videos, quick hits, really marketing to folks age 15 to 30, right? So they were a really big provider of some of Zion's content. Folks like Trey Young have been on since the beginning. And then it spawned like, hey, how do we do and market to this demographic which nobody is connecting with, which is that young audience, right? 15 to 30. And so a lot of the things are geared on TikTok and Instagram. And so I think it started there. And then Dan Porter and Zach, who are the founders of Overtime, really paired with some dope folks who had a lot of NBA experience and said, what would it look like? There was an event called The Takeover in Brooklyn that really brought a whole bunch together, kind of brought the Rucker feel with a new age kind of twist. It was like, man, what would this look like to make this on an everyday basis? And so some brilliant minds came together, man, long before me. Some brilliant minds and some good money came together and decided to take the chance and creating a league and just be disruptive. And so, they got some good backing from about, I would say 8 to 9% of the NBA are backers. And then you got folks like Drake, ironically enough, so I guess I shouldn't slam who texted somebody from second my boss. I had to rethink it. Drake's album was album of the year. Let me tell you this. Let me walk this back.
Make sure this is the clip that we actually use to promo
CLB.
But Drake, Drake, KD, and Carmelo are huge backers that they're kind of pour into us in that way. But just the energy of the young people, man, is built it in I would say in about 9 months, created a professional basketball league and an academic program and a whole media content conglomerate. And we're building the ship as we go, but it's been a beautiful ride.
That's interesting, man. So it's basically like a hoop academy, right? Like, and I think that's becoming like all the rage now across the country, right? These hoop academies, guys are going to these quote unquote schools. They are schools, but they're going to schools.
This is definitely basketball. A school. I want to make sure, like,
we're going to get into that.
So
I mean, I guess before I even ask this question about the hoop academies, what's your role as the academic director or senior director of academics?
So I moved to Atlanta 3 years ago to start my own school. So the image behind me, or my avatar, is actually my nonprofit that I co-founded with two of my best friends back in Seattle. We've been running for 10 years. And so from that design, I wanted to design an all-male academy, K through 12 here in Atlanta. So that's what brought me here to Atlanta. That didn't, things happened. The pandemic happened, and then the other pandemic happened. And I just kind of found myself in a space, and then found Overtime, got connected, and just the ability to be able to build something for young Black and brown men for the most part, which is where my passion is at as a career educator, to design it and to do something different. So I think to the point, a lot of the naysayers are like, oh, it's just hoop. It's like, nah. What we do is we build a whole academic program. And our guys not just do their day-to-day academics, we do language arts, health, math, sports nutrition, sports science. And then we dig deeper into our 6 pillars of social justice, financial literacy, mental health, and then all the things you can do with your platform, right? Social media, how do you use that brand? So then we do that every day. And what I'm proudest of so far, 2 months into us actually being in school, is we got some brilliant dudes. What I tell them all the time is like, I don't care about them as I do care about them as hoopers. but I care about them more as men.
As men, yeah.
And we got some cats who are, you know, we have some folks who are dually enrolled in college. Right now, we got some folks who are taking like forensic science through our college partner. We got some other folks who are. Go ahead.
No, so you guys are preparing them. I mean,
Oh,
so you guys are preparing them for college. You guys are preparing them, you know, to graduate high school and all this stuff. So I guess my question, though, my main question is like, what is the main focus? Like, are you guys? I mean, they are getting paid, so how does that work with the colleges? But like, are you guys preparing them more so to be professionals? Like,
so definitely the focus is tailoring education that actually helps them in the thing they're going to do. So, you know, there's a lot of soccer academies like this, a lot of volleyball. And so because they've given up their athletic eligibility, if one wanted to go to college and play, they couldn't. However, they can go to college and the way overtime is set up is they decide they don't want to hoop no more. There's $100,000 set aside for them just to go to college. So if they just want to go to, if one walks up to you tomorrow and is like, man, Mr. Marcus, I'm done with this, they can just go straight to college. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to build partnerships with like Morehouse, Atlanta Technical College, some other places, so we can be Atlanta bred.
My school always at the forefront.
So is that what makes overtime unique? Which is you guys essentially are creating this environment that you have like a dual pipeline. You have a pipeline to the league or whatever professional league they want to go to, but you also have a pipeline to prepare them for, you know, post-secondary education as well. And that's something you won't get, you know, and getting paid as well. You won't get that going to like one of these big prep schools. You won't get that going through certain AAU programs. So I get like that's what really stands you guys or makes you guys stand out.
Very much so. And I think too, we don't hide from the fact that we know what they're there for, right? Like these are 27 uniquely skilled people.
Yeah.
And so when we're doing math of, you know, we're doing complex numbers. We're also going to break down your stats. So when we're doing statistics, it's like, okay, what is the statistical probability analytics? And let's use your stats from the last game. So literally after the last game, we grabbed the stat sheets from statisticians, and that was Wednesday's lesson.
That keeps them interested.
Real world application.
Yeah,
right. We talk about analytics, social media, like how are you, you know, you got a lot more followers this weekend. How does that work? And then we do a lot, especially in our language arts around public speaking, like how are you going to use your platform, right? And I do a lot of work. My background was in counseling first. We do a lot of work around social emotional learning, like knowledge itself. So like, what are the things you care about? Are you passionate about like, I don't know, animals or like fur conservation? Or are you passionate about like social justice, blah, 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 blah. So it's dope to be able to create that from the ground up. And like I said, man, these dudes are brilliant.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys, I mean, today's athlete, I feel like it's more well-rounded and trying to get away from the stigma of, you know, the super jock or whatever, right? So it sounds like you guys are creating even more well-rounded, I don't want to call them, I mean, there are athletes as professionals, but like a person, human beings, you know, black men basically, right?
Yeah.
So
the odds still are is that, you know, we want all 27 to go to a league, a professional basketball thing. You know, we know what the numbers are on that, right? Hopefully we shatter that. But if not, they can walk into some place and be ready and also be financially set in a way that a lot of us never were. Like I wasn't touching the money they're making at minimum until
that's
I was
crazy.
26, 27.
So with I know you guys probably have like you mentioned forensic science, you guys have a wide range of things that you're allowing them to pursue academically. What about arts? Like say if they have an interest in music, what do you guys have in line to help them do that? Whether it be, you know, engineering, whether it be producing, whether it be, you know, writing, playing instruments, like what do you guys have around the arts?
So what's dope about that is if you think about our program as 2-tiered, so there's tier 1, which is like your diploma track. And now I would say that's 70% of them that we're getting a real Georgia diploma.
And I was gonna say, just to keep like not a GED, but like an actual.
It's a real Georgia diploma.
Credit.
And then we're actually getting more credits than we need to. And then we have our post-grad track. So our post-grads are our 7 guys that have already graduated from high school. Their track is an internship program that we created that is, that's why I smiled when you said music, that we let them through our 6 kind of pillars choose what they want to do. They have to research it. They have to go find an internship. So ironically enough to your question, 3 of our guys are interested in music, and they are doing a music internship with a cat, Roderick Thompson, dope dude, who was the producer on Laffy Taffy. I don't know if you remember that song.
Yeah.
Here in Atlanta. He's working with them on all the spheres. So as artists, as producers, how to learn and get their own publishing, how to do all that stuff. So we got 3 cats who are actually in that now. And they do that 3 days a week while the other cats are in class. That's where they go and do. And then they have to report out every 9 weeks. We do an exhibition of learning. You guys are you're more than invited to come to one where they report out on what they've learned across the board. And it works on like their public speaking skills, and just them to be able to, it's not like a report card. We don't do grades in the same way. We do narratives. So like, this is how you grow. Because I believe academics is about growth. It's not about, I got an A in science one year and I don't know what that meant.
Yeah. Like, what are you learning and retaining it, and how can you apply it?
Yep. And so that's what we do. So yeah, if they're in whatever they're interested in, we'll find it for them. That's the coolness of being able to create it. It's like, man, if you want to get into whatever, we'll find it.
I'm interested in this narrative, I guess, as you called it, compared to like a report card. How does that more so work?
So it would be like, every week they have an advisor. So, you kind of have your person you go to. So we kind of break off in groups of 4 or 5 and they meet with them and they set goals every week. So it's like, this week I got done X assignment, but I didn't really like how I did. Like, how's our growth gone? And then every week you're getting this feedback. And then at the end, instead of a report card, you're getting a narrative. It's like, after 2 weeks, your goal was this, you accomplished this. I saw these weak points in your writing here. Let's get it there. This is the goal for the next quarter. I feel like it's really much more informative than like, you got to see, right? Like, which as a former teacher, I can tell you grades are super subjective, not to shade any of my students out there. If you got an A, you earned it. But it really is, relative to what, right? Instead of just saying like, how do we grow? And how do you know I got better? And then they inform it as well through their exhibition of learning to say, this is how I know I got better. I got stronger in math because now D follows some of my social media stuff. Like, you got better at math because now you can teach it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of our times our guys get up and are teaching like, long, algebraic equations or stats or whatever have you. And that's the best way to learn, man. That's how you know it.
So do you think like hoop academies are becoming more, like I said earlier, hoop academies are becoming more and more popular across the country. Do you think this will eventually become like an alternative to maybe AAU basketball and like cut down on all that travel and corruption that's in AAU basketball? It is a lot of corruption. Like in the past few years, we've seen the NC, you've seen people get arrested, actual assistant coaches get arrested because of their ties to the AAU, right? But it seems like this is an alternative. Like, hey, this is the money right off the bat. Like, we're helping you and your family out. You can do the money as you please, right? Obviously, you can't go to college, but we're training you.
Well, you can go. You just can't play in college. You can still go to college.
Yeah, you can still go to college.
You just can't play.
You lose your eligibility. But we're training you how to be, fully functioning men in society. Do you think this can eventually, I don't know, take AAU out the equation? Or do you think that'll still be?
Yeah, I don't know if by design that was the goal. I think the goal, I know the goal was to empower young people, right? We know for a long time they've been commodities. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, you can take this high level skill and make money yourself. And I think, I believe the vision is just to give options, right? And so like, if you're able to do it again, there's academies overseas. There's tons of soccer academies.
Yeah, even in China, like they specialize their kids when they're like young. Like, hey, bro, you're going to be a tennis player.
And I think
later.
Right. And I think one big thing that we are proudest of is that financial literacy piece, right? So it's having that conversation with them. We have a partner, North Rock, who represents Giannis in his business development. We got some other folks who work with Carmelo's team who really are working hard to make sure these guys understand the money they're making and how to stretch this. And what like makes it so cool is like, we got some cats who are like, man, Mr. Marcus, I'm not spending money on nothing. Like I just bought one the other day, some batteries for his Xbox controller. I'm like, bro, you make more money than me. He's like, I'm not spending money. I couldn't even be mad at it. So I just have the batteries.
That's dope, though. That's dope.
He was like, hey, you got some extra toiletries? So I said, now look, man, I can't do it.
If you better walk. If you don't go get this Costco membership, man.
That's what I told him.
What's wrong with you, man?
But I can't be mad at it at the same time, right? Yeah. He's like, man, this is once, and for some of it might be, right? You might have this 2 or 3 year run of making this
biggest payday.
Money. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And then you have to move on to something else. So to your point, I think it's possible. What I'm excited most about is it gives young people an opportunity, our young people, an opportunity early to capitalize on their talent.
Yeah, you guys are kind of in direct competition with college ball at this point, right? Like even with them passing NIL.
There's a level of recruitment there.
There's still a level of recruitment. Like, hey, I was reading the article in The Athletic, about the whole, the startup of OT, and John Calipari was basically, shitting on you guys, saying like, this is gonna flop, blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't want to lose these top athletes to, a professional high school league, or I'm sure even the G League. They're paying guys in the G League now. These top high. Look at Jalen Green for the Rockets.
What stood out to me when he in the articles when and they didn't name the coach that said this, but one major coach was like, I don't understand their business model. And what stood out to me with that is, all right,
you don't understand young people, man. Like,
well, not even that. It's like, okay, you're a coach, and I know like the amateurism or the idea of what, like, obviously that's over, but even as it's currently structured, it's still a level of amateurism in the sense that they're not paying their players. So like their entire business model is structured upon we not paying them.
yeah,
Now they can get paid, just not by us, right?
Yeah.
So it's still them not paying them.
yeah,
So it's like you can't understand how that business, your business, you understand how your business model works, but you can't understand how the business model work when the labor is actually in control of what of their earnings that they can actually get earned. And correct me if I'm wrong, Marcus, these, the students, they can, if they want to get a average, if they want to, get a advertising deal or something with, say TikTok or whatever, they're free to do that as well.
Yeah.
So they have this. So, I mean, I can see why they would be threatened,
Yeah.
but just like there's a place for them, there's a place for OT in this arena as well, for young people to really maximize their true earning potential and their overall potential as far as growth.
Just look at Mikey, man. Mikey's like the biggest star on the planet. Dude's in 2K commercials. Dude just signed his own shoe deal with Puma. Like I heard he, I heard he pulled up. I think he played one of your teams in the OTE, right? And he just pulled up. He pulled up to the game. He pulled up with the team. Pulled up in the game in the Hellcat or whatever it was. Like, just I'm here to hoop. Like that.
Yeah, the goal, I hope the goal is, like two things. One, like I was an NCAA athlete, right? And so like I tell people this all the time, and this is not to poop on the NCAA at all, but like the brokest I've ever been was as a scholarship athlete, right? Like the first time I stole was as a scholarship athlete. I was broke and hungry, right? I stole a whole turkey and didn't know how to cook it. So I was like, man, it looks like it will last. But I think to the NCAA's credit on the level, like I think we are in a dawn of a new day. And I'm hoping like there's an open space where we can figure this out and be like, how can these things work together for the greater good of everybody, especially with NIL, especially with everybody finding a way to win. And so I'm hopeful that at some point we'll be able to bridge that gap and have a swinging of how that works. Or if a kid comes to us, maybe they can still go to college, or still play in college. And I think folks are open now. So I think that's the dope thing.
And you guys are still like, you have NBA scouts. I think I was reading that athletic article last weekend or whatever. I think it was, last weekend. You guys still had scouts there that represented 29 of 30 teams. So you have that in addition to the partnerships with other local businesses and corporations for the internship pipeline as well. So you guys are tackling both sides of growth for your students. So how is that kind of part of your recruitment pitch when you guys are trying to recruit athletes to OT, which is showing them, hey, and parents too, like whatever you guys want, whatever your goals are, we can help you accomplish that in a way that NCAA can't.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think it's also, busting down the barrier of like, especially 26 of our kids are Black or brown, right? And so like just naming the thing, right? But all of those parents to a person, the thing they cared about the most was the academics. Like, who gets the most, the most was like, is my baby going to get a real degree? Is my, like I said, we got 4 or 5 cats taking college classes. We got the Thompson twins are like baby geniuses. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Lewis just won a gold medal. That cat could be on my staff, right? Like he's brilliant. And so I think what the parents really cared about is my baby going to be equipped to tackle the world and know who they are and continue to be a good person, which I think was a surprise to a lot of folks, right? That they just didn't care about the other stuff. It was like, how can we
continue further them and advance them?
Because this is not going to last forever. Let's say average career in the NBA is 5 years. Yeah. So even if they go, let's say John goes next year, John's 19, let's say he has a 5-year career, he's 24 when he's done, right? Like what are you going to do? So like he's in our post-grad program, he's doing financial investment. He signed a Clutch. So he's going through Clutch, but he's really interested in financial investment. And he's from
Clutch is the sports agency by Rich Paul and LeBron James' team.
Yeah, so we deal with agents as well, clearly. And so, that's another thing. Is like we don't help. We can't directly help, but it's like making sure young people are equipped to be around the right people who are going to support their journey
and maximize opportunities when they're presented with them.
Yep.
That's what's up, man. All right, man. That's we can talk about this all day. But I think you gave us the perfect segue into this our music topic. Man, say he was stealing turkeys, didn't know how to cook them.
It was rough times. It was rough times, bro. I stole a turkey, some milk, and some cinnamon toast crunch. The only thing that ever got ate
You ain't
was
gotta
cinnamon toast
incriminate
crunch.
yourself on here, bro.
That is.
Oh, man.
Darren incriminated himself talking about he been stealing movies since he been born, but you ain't gotta incriminate.
Not since I've been
yourself.
born, but man, look, I didn't incriminate. First of all, I received my punishment for it. I told you they kicked me
Oh,
off
they
the
kicked you off the
campus
internet. They kicked
Wi-Fi.
you
I had
off-
to finesse my Wi-Fi for the rest of my college experience because they caught me twice. I told it was for paranormal activity, and then it was for Dr. Dre's 2001 album as well. I guess that was the one that Dr. Dre was like, I'm really making
tired of
sure
y'all.
y'all not pirating my. And so they called me down to the. I don't even know this building existed at the time. They called me downtown Birmingham to where the office was in UAB, and they're like, "We caught you. This is the file that it is. You have to delete that off your computer." Blah blah blah. And so and then they just banned my using my Blazer ID from the Wi-Fi. So I had to finesse the rest of the time
I
there.
think I've gotten my karma back in other ways. I don't know if I ever I don't really even like turkey, so maybe that's what it is. The Lord took that away from my
I gotta
face.
get you some fried turkey or something.
Turkey
Right?
is good, bro.
Yeah.
Turkey is like least on the Thanksgiving menu for me. But, all right, man. So let's hop into this music.
What are we thankful for?
What we're 5 albums. We're gonna hop into 5 albums we're thankful for. I hope you guys did your list. I did.
I got my
mine
list.
last night.
I want to let Marcus go first, though.
So for Thanksgiving, you guys, we're going to discuss the 5 albums we're thankful for across any genre. All mine are rap, except for one. But yeah, we'll go ahead and Marcus, have you got your list? We'll start off.
I got my list. I felt, I was nervous. Darren had me nervous, but
I had you nervous? How I have you nervous?
No. I just, after we got to, okay, I'm just gonna hit it. All right. So now in no particular order.
Okay.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Where's it going?
The Black Album by Hope.
Like that.
Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood by DMX.
Mm.
Wale's Ambition album. There you go.
Vinyl.
And then this is where I was stuck because I was telling Curtis earlier, I'm from Seattle, man, so I got eclectic taste.
Mm-hmm.
So I was stuck between John Mayer's Continuum. I was gonna throw y'all
I like
off.
this brother. I like.
You're
this
not gonna
brother.
throw us off.
I like this brother.
You ain't
I
gonna
like
throw
this
us
brother.
off. You
There
didn't
you
even
go.
know.
So
He's a
John Mayer's Continuum was gonna be 5. I'm gonna throw folks off a little bit. There you go.
That's solid.
I go back and forth like all the time on what is my favorite John Mayer album. So it's either Continuum or what's the other one? I can't even think of right off the bat.
Mine is not only Continuum, but it's Continuum because one of the dopest YouTube videos I always like to watch randomly is John Mayer's Gravity live from LA. That's one of the dopest.
Gravity.
Like, yeah, bro. Like,
yeah.
just
It-
I can't
switched-
watch it. That's it.
I
I was
actually
gonna watch it.
I actually debate between three of his albums: Heavier Things, Continuum, and Battle Studies.
But those are my 5.
Heavier Things is like one of those like sad boy albums for me. Like I cut that on, it's like, all right, I'm in my feels. Let's get this out.
It's your Summer Walker album.
Yeah, basically.
It's a Summer Walker
but for
album.
country white men. Darren, if you want to go, I got my list. If you want to go, what's up?
Sure, I'll go. So
Go ahead.
I have, and I kind of battled this for a little bit. So I tried to go with I tried to eliminate recency bias, and I just kind of like, all right, what do I? So naturally, Tame Impala, Currents.
I figured you put on that. I figured either me or you was going. I was going to stay away from that album. But
I couldn't. I had to. That really was like that's yeah. Kanye West's Graduation. These and they all kind of like coincide with like kind of pivotal years of my life. Jeezy's TM 101. Alabama Shake, Sound and Color. I really loved that album. Like, and then Lil Wayne's Carter 2.
I thought about
Those are my.
Carter 2 album.
And again, these aren't like 5 favorite. These are just like ones I'm just really thankful for, and I
Yeah.
feel like have been my most impactful on my life in some capacity or not, as far as music.
So I debated between putting like my favorite artists. Obviously, some of my favorite artists on here on this list, their albums. But I debated like putting my favorite albums from my favorite artists on there. But I just basically went like the first 5 albums that popped in my head, and the first 4 are kind of like middle school, high school years. So I went Late Registration, Food and Liquor by Lupe Fiasco.
That's nice. That's a good one.
I went The Massacre by 50 Cent.
Okay.
Seeing Sounds by NERD. And then this was the eyeball out. DS2 by Future.
So I almost put that one. I almost put Dirty Sprite too. That's a Yeah.
Dirty Sprite
2015
2.
was crazy. 2015 had Currents,
2015,
DS2, and Alabama Sound and Color.
I think DS2 is like, it's still, that sound is still carrying over today to like all the music you hear today. Like it's I can run that album straight through anytime. Like if I hear one song on that album, I'm like, I gotta cut it from the beginning. Gotta start from the beginning. Like and just run it straight through.
Marcus can attest to this. Like in the gym we go to, it's a constant stream of Future. Like it's it's a constant stream of Future.
I just put Real Sisters on my one yesterday.
He did, but
Yeah.
it's a constant
I
stream.
mean, we said we're not gonna talk about Kanye, but Kanye said, I don't know if you watched the whole interview, but they asked Kanye like, who's the most influential artist of the last decade?
Yeah.
First thing, Future. Like everything in music today is connected to Future and that run, man. He had like even back to him like with Honest. Like if people don't like Honest or whatever the album, but I
people and when I in hindsight when I think about it, back to it, like 2014 was Honest. Honest like had some hits, like it had, Move That Dope. It had the joint with Drake and Kanye. Like people liked it at the time, but I think when 2015 happened and he dropped Monster and he started going on a different that sound, and then it made Honest look like, okay, this wasn't you. We didn't really like this as much as we thought we did.
I don't know how you can say that wasn't him though. I think that
was
so.
I didn't mean it wasn't him. So again, I think we're going off of saying it wasn't him based on that's what he said.
Okay, yeah, I guess because he was tied to Sierra at that time and everything. Yeah, okay.
Try to make me a pop star, but they made a monster. Like you said this, not me. You said this, so I can only assume this wasn't you.
But I think DS2. I think DS2 was like. I don't want to compare it to the Carter 3, but I kind of have to in the sense that like the Carter 3 kind of captured like it was kind of the peak of Wayne's run, right? Like Wayne had that crazy run starting from like the Carter 2. I feel like the Carter 2 was like the setup, right? The Carter 2 was the setup of that run. And then all the mixtape singles he dropped after that. And then the Carter 3 was just like, I'm here. Grammy nominated. I think he even won a Grammy off that album. It's like I'm here, dog. Like I'm the best in hip hop right now. Nobody can tell me anything. I think DS2 was that for Future. It was like he started off with, I mean, even before Honest, like he held down college campuses in the South for, I remember running out of house parties with Future. And it was like, dude, that's Future. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so you bringing up that album made me think of what one of Marcus's choices. So Marcus, you said Black Album was yours. Why that specific Jay-Z album?
I think you said it, and I went the same reason you all did. Like all those were like similar moments of my life type of deal, right? Like so, like Wale's Ambition was when I moved to Spain. I was just like, I needed to hear Ambition and Legendary because those
they gonna love me for my ambition.
That was a great album.
Same with Hov. Hov was like that Black Album, man, was just a time in my life where it's just like, man, that a lot that introduction, like allow me to introduce myself, like just I don't know, but so I almost put though. To be fair to that, I was gonna put Hov. He's my favorite rapper of all time, but I almost put 444 because as I've grown into a man, I appreciate that album a lot.
I love that album. I think it's an instant classic. I argue with people all the time. People are like, "Oh man, you need to give it a few more years." When did it drop? Like 3 years ago, whatever.
2017.
Was it 2017?
That
long?
17.
But just as a journey as a man, I appreciate Hov. Like I can appreciate it as I've grown older, right? Like I definitely think it's like it's definitely an album if somebody's calling you Unc.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think I think we're getting a lot of that from like older rappers now, and I appreciate that, right? I hate to bring this back to Kanye, but Kanye talked about this as well. Like, they're those guys are 40s, 50 now, right? Like when he was, in the early 2000s, like rappers when they turned 40, they just retired, they just went away.
Like,
or they're cops on SVU.
Yeah.
But then you have like not like 2 Chainz, like
but they're
vitalized his career at 40.
But his point was like they're coming back now and giving this like introspective that they didn't have as late 20s, early 30s when they were just running the money up. Now they have the money. They're spending their money wisely. They have families and everything, and I think that
like investors in young. Professional basketball.
That was Jay-Z. That was Jay-Z coming back to rap like Talib Kweli in a sense, right? Like remember he has that line where whatever he said, the dollars don't make sense or sense don't make dollars or whatever he said. Like I can rap like Talib Kweli.
Yeah,
That was him coming back to rap like Talib Kweli, even though the NBA called him trash.
it's crazy how and I mean this is kind of like what we always try to show. So hip hop is what 30, 40 years old now, 50 years old, and it's gone from something that people looked at as juvenile, just for the youth, and now it's literally shaping and transforming the world and industries, basketball, sports, politics, film.
Yeah,
Like I was just watching the Harder They Fall movie on Netflix last night.
I gotta catch that.
Like it's this overtime league. Like there's investors that think from hip hop, and even like the players that are doing like a lot of what they're doing, and a lot of it's, well, I'm seeing Jay-Z do this. I'm seeing him expand. So I want to expand my brand. I want to be a mogul as well. Yeah. And it's just crazy how it's just hip hop is always that kind of underlying common thread.
I was having that same moment, Darren, last week, like literally at our second game, just the Mikey game, right? The game afterwards, like 2 Chainz walks in, right? So all of a sudden at halftime, 2 Chainz is shooting shots, with our content team. And I'm sitting there next to the owner and I'm like, bro, I did, 6 months ago, I did not think I'd be in this state-of-the-art arena, sitting next, like doing this, like watching
Midtown Atlanta.
Yeah, Midtown Atlanta, right? Like, I was happy. I love my life, what I'm saying? But to your point, like just the influence it has, and from 2 Chainz, we had Tony Parker come visit this week, so you just have the whole range of just what these guys are experiencing, and my hope is that they soak it in, man. It's once in a lifetime.
Yeah, it is.
Appreciate it. I definitely gotta come check out, man. I'm gonna take you up on the offer. Definitely gonna come. Sure. Check out a game or two and just see the environment. Cause I guess gotta see it. Like I see the picture, it just looks like something special that you have to kind of like really see in person.
Yeah, definitely.
Before we get out of here, we got a few minutes left on our clock, on our shot clock. Anything you guys want to talk about before we get out of here? We got like 2.5 minutes.
That's it, man. I just want to appreciate Marcus for pulling up on us, man. Like I know we talked about it, and I really appreciate you pulling up, man. Definitely, like if there's anything you want to shout out with respect to OT or anything, or any of your other nonprofit as well, by all means, like give us the info on
Instagram, all that good stuff, man.
Oh yeah, I can shameless plug. By all means, definitely shout out to OT because they pay the bills. They're what keeps the ring light on. But also shout out to Academy for Creating Excellence. So it's our organization up in Seattle. We're in year 10, man. So we support young Black men ages 8 to 24, doing social emotional learning, entrepreneurial learning, and just supporting in schools. That's my shop behind me, so you can see my young dude with the Champion Day belt. My Instagram handle is I am the People's Ninja. And so much like Darren, I like the weird names. No, I'm not Greek. I think it's like a weird Greek name. So just happy to be here, man. I love what y'all doing. The first time I saw Darren, I was like, man, that is dope, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
We see each other at the gym, so you never know what people do. So I was like, man, I know he has another trap life, but I think this is great, and y'all are doing dope stuff. But yeah, just continue to support. If you're in the Atlanta area, man, come check us out. Overtime Elite, 220 Butler Way, I think. Shout out to the Heat, Jimmy Butler. But it's dope, man. And I'm just, I just want to iterate for folks, man. Like these are 27 are just dope young dudes. And to your point, like I think the dumb super jock era was over. We got cats who are writing essays on the evolution of a Black man and speaking in French and in English. And it's powerful. So I'm honored. I'm always humbled. I always say, man, my greatest joy as an educator is I get to be a steward to the most important thing in somebody else's world and see them grow. And so it's super exciting to see that, man. And so just grateful to be here for this platform. And I'm curious of the 50 Cent Massacre album. I let that slide. But beyond that
was my man. 50's my favorite. Obviously, my name is Curt Jackson, but 50's my favorite rapper back in the day, man. All right, so we got less than a minute. We got to get out of here, you guys. Follow us on Instagram, rapnerds_MSG, rapnerds_MSG. Follow us on Twitter at rapnerdsMSG. I guess you can follow me too at Leroy Green III.
Thank you, Glow Skywalker. Definitely also comments. I know sometimes you guys ask like the music we listen to. We'll do a better job of giving you guys a list of everything we've actually mentioned, all the songs and tracks. So definitely hear you. We'll definitely be doing that. But thank you all for joining us. Until next time, peace.
All right.